incaricate di portare Morselli verso l'ipotetico e desiderato primato. La prima è Ken Washington, che dovrebbe far transitare il plotone agli 800 metri in 1,51. Questa è l'ideale tabella di marcia. Poi Cesir in 2,48 ai 1.200 e poi che se la veda Noureddin Morselli, che gareggia contro William Kemei, Wilfred Chiroci, Jim Spiwi, Jonah Birir, David Kibet, Jens Peter Herold, campione europeo, Hauke Fulbrugg, germanico pure lui, Sammy Koskei, Jeff Atkinson, Nasser Bramia, Matt Yates e Andrea Cori. Questo il campo di partenze di 1.500. L'obiettivo, lo ribadisco, è il primato europeo e mondiale, scusate, di Saida Awita. 3:29:46, stabilito a Berlino il 23 agosto 1985.
Allora, visto che parliamo di primati, ricordiamo i passaggi: 56,80 ai 400 metri, 1,53,41 agli 800, 2,48,48 ai 1200 metri, cioè praticamente 56 secondi, 55-50 ogni 400 metri, ogni giro di pista.
E Rieti ha un'ottima tradizione con il 1500, ricordiamo l'ultimo primato, quello di Napoli, 2 anni fa, primato italiano 3:32,78, proprio davanti ad Herold e Morselli. Steve Wovet nell'83 record mondiale, qui a Rieti 3:30,77, poi gareggiò qui anche Sebastian Coe, difatti detiene ancora il primato del meeting con 3:29,77. Quindi terra ideale per il mezzofondo Rieti, abbiamo già ricordato, centro geografico d'Italia, posto su un altipiano che favorisce le competizioni di mezzofondo. Allora, Ken Washington, la prima lepre, e non c'è Ken Washington, è stata cambiata, pirottata, comunque non è importante. Vediamo Morselli in posizione di attesa, attenzione, poi c'è anche Chiroci, Piwi, Jonah Birir, tutti uomini pericolosi, anche se Morselli, bisogna essere onesti, non dovrebbe avere avversari. Si è preparato l'atleta algerino con puntiglio dopo le Olimpiadi, vi ho già accennato che è passato 15 giorni a Schio, si è presentato al meeting di Rovereto con l'aria del turista, diceva io sto preparando una grande prestazione a fine stagione e questa dovrebbe arrivare qui da Rieti.
Tanto il passaggio sui 400 metri, 53-57, è un passaggio troppo veloce, c'è da temere che possa succedere come nei 5.000 metri, la prima parte è troppo veloce.
Scusa, è forse troppo veloce Sammy Koskei che fa la lepre, vedete che gli altri tentano tenere il passo. Prego,
ma il passaggio è veloce anche per Morselli perché è sotto, adesso sugli 800 metri, Awita transitò in 1:53,41. Noi dovremo fare riferimento sulla testa della corsa, ma anche su Morselli che è quarto in questo momento in completo nero. E vedete 1:51,31, ci
perfetto,
sono 2 secondi di vantaggio.
Era il tempo chiesto ed ora Cesir deve portare 1.200 in 2:48, deve portare Morselli ai 1.200 metri in 2:48, il prossimo obiettivo.
E comunque sono dell'idea che il primato del mondo sui 1.500 metri si fa sempre negli ultimi 300 metri, dopo il passaggio a 1.200. Ci ha insegnato Coe, ci ha insegnato Ovet e ci ha insegnato Awita. E ce l'hanno insegnato coloro che quest'anno lo hanno tentato e fallito. Lo stesso Morselli, seppure è arrivato a 3:30,75, miglior tempo dell'anno quest'anno, ovviamente il primato algerino.
Attenzione, Joseph Cesir, ed ecco Morselli che vai a sollecitare il ritmo, in terza posizione Jonah Birir, un giro al termine, vediamo se il passaggio in 2:48 avverrà. Morselli ha preso l'iniziativa, come diceva poco fa Attilio Monetti, il primato si fa in questo momento.
Passaggio ottimo, 2:47,
siamo in vantaggio.
È in vantaggio di un secondo e questo è il momento critico.
Attenzione, se Morselli riesce a mantenere questo ritmo va al primato del mondo, cancella il marocchino Saida Awita, che già ha perso un primato del mondo quest'anno ad opera dell'atleta che purtroppo non vedremo poi in gara, Moses Kiptanui, nei 3.000 siepi. Vi invitiamo a seguire i prossimi notiziari. Lui tenterà sui 3.000, può farcela, attenzione, 3:29,46, siamo a 3:21, arriva il primato del mondo, attenzione, Noureddin Morselli, è primato del mondo, Noureddin Morselli cancella Saida Awita, 3:28,86, chiudiamo con questo primato del mondo, augurandoci che poi nei 3.000 siepi arrivi anche il bis. Noureddin Morselli ha riscattato un'intera stagione, deludente alle Olimpiadi, Noureddin Morseri, primato del mondo, 3:28.86, tempo ufficioso, ma potrà cambiare al massimo di qualche centesimo. Awitave ha corso a Berlino in 3:29.46, è il secondo primato mondiale che arriva in Italia nel corso di una settimana. Sergei Bubka a Padova, l'asta domenica scorsa, oggi Noureddin Morseri, e Bubka è ancora in gara. E ancora nei 3000 siepi attendiamo qui a Rieti, Moses Kiptanui.
54,96 l'ultimo giro, un giro veloce, abbiamo detto, era nell'ultimo giro, negli ultimi 300 metri doveva fare il primato, i passaggi 53,57, 1,51,31, 2,47 e 30. Schio gli ha portato fortuna e l'Italia.
Noureddin Morseri, nuovo regista del mondo, confermiamo il tempo di Frankie Fredericks, 20:32, è tutto da Rieti. Augusto Brecci vi ringrazia per l'ascolto e vi rimando ovviamente ai notiziari sportivi della serata.
Well, Noureddin Morseli, after his disappointment in the Olympic Games the previous year, had gone to Rieti and he'd broken the world record for the 1500 meters. Today he was after Steve Crumb's mile record. Being helped well on his way there by Freddie Williams and Marcus O'Sullivan. Taking him up past 1,000 meters. Williams, formerly of South Africa, now Canada. Marcus O'Sullivan, of course, three-time indoor world champion at 1,500 meters. Interestingly, this was a record, that's to say the mile that Saïd Owita never broke. Morseli had tried a few times, hadn't really got anywhere near, including just the week previously, in fact just a couple of days previously in Brussels, but he was going to take it apart with a vengeance here in Rieti. So much so that some people were actually going to question if he'd run the full distance. Can't really make too many mistakes, given that the mile starts just short of the finishing line. In glorious isolation, Noureddin Morseli, who had held off till the last week before finally going to the World Championships in Stuttgart and collecting his gold medal. He was one of the people who earlier in the season had said he wouldn't go unless he was paid. On arrival he did say he was paid, then denied it later in the week under pressure from the IAAF. But whatever, he won the world title, he was undefeated all season, and here he sets an absolutely extraordinary time for the mile. 3:44.38, almost 2 seconds off Steve Crumb's world record set back in 1985.
Line up. Certainly is. Spivey there of the USA, in good form at the moment. At the relatively old age of 34, excuse me. Moses Tanui, 1991 World 10,000 metres champion, looking for a bit of speed here over 7.5 laps. But an awful lot of eyes on Noureddin Morseli. He'll be wearing number 7 Morseli. And there you can see athletes discussing the pace required.
What's your attitude, Tim, to these all these races now that are pacemakes instead of just out-and-out races where everyone's going for their own performance?
Well, I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I think it's always fabulous to see somebody achieve a world record, and frankly, world records are so good now that they are hard to reach without assistance from pacemakers. Indeed, there are so many good Africans around now in world distance running that you can often get very good races and race times that are close to the world record. But of course, a race can be a slow race and still be very, very entertaining. You can have a lot of good competition in it. This one, I fancy, will be both those things. I think we're going to get the best of both worlds here. I think we're going to have a very fast race, and I think we're going to have a competitive race, because there's several men here capable of going way, way down into the 7:30s. Noureddin Morseli himself has gone under 7:30 before. And this field, don't let's forget, features Gebre Selassie, the world 5,000 metre champion world 5,000 metre champion, record holder, I should say, from just a couple of months ago. He's the 10,000 metres world champion. Big field. We'll introduce the athletes to you as they get underway. At the moment I'm just looking for Morseli. I can't actually see him. I can see Panetta there on the right with the headband. I can see Gebre Selassie to the extreme left there in the blue. And there is Morseli. Yep, he's in the lineup. That's a relief. Thought for 1 minute we'd had another. 11th hour pull-out. Morsley won here last year in the fastest time in the world for 1993, 7:29.24. So he's familiar with the track, he knows it's fast. Now if the pacemakers do the right job, then the world record could seriously be under threat. That world record by Moses Kiptanui. The figures they're aiming at, 7:28. And if you want the bits and pieces, it's 7:28.96. Kiptanui, of course, added another world record, or world best, I should say, to his collection at Hexhall last Saturday with a 2 miles win in 8:9.01. So he can lay claim to 3 world records, 2 miles, 3,000 and 3,000 metres steeplechase. There is Morsley, still only 24 years old, undisputed world number 1 at 1,500 metres, although he has had a little competition this year. Neon Garbo of Burundi has given him a couple of close runs. Burundian was on a 3:48 miles win at Oslo. He ran Morsley very, very close in the 1,500 at Lille. And it's nice to see at last a little bit of competition for the Algerian, who holds world records, of course, at 1,500 and mile.
Morselli stated that he wants to break those world records this year. He's run some fast times, but he's yet to break a world record this year. Of course, records in the 10 and 5 going. Problems at the start. I think a few athletes with their toes over the line, but it doesn't really matter, does it, when you've got 3,000 metres ahead of you.
Does if you lose by half an inch, John, but no, you're right. In the women's 1,500 metres earlier, we had a full start. This field over the first 100 metres has set off very, very fast indeed. So Joseph Chizire moves to the front there. Number 67, came fourth in the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. I've actually trained with Joseph rather, a Ferrol bit in Kenya in the past. Never really moved on from that great performance in Los Angeles, and has been a pacemaker on the circuit for some years. Morsley at the moment in 3rd place, happy to tuck in, and you can get an indication of the speed of this race, because look at the single file they've been strung out to already. Very, very fast indeed this. They're going to go through here in under 60 seconds, I think, up at the front. Gebre Selassie has tucked himself in there into 5th place. Let's have a look at the 400 metre split. Well, we didn't actually get one, but it was around 57.5 seconds. Quite incredible. Morsley, I fancy, went through in around 58.2, 58.3. So a little bit too fast, maybe. I hope it'll settle down over this next stretch, otherwise the record could be gone. Sean Creighton bringing up the rear there with Francesco Panetta, two steeplechase specialists. Creighton will be wanting to beat the Kenyans at the Commonwealth Games steeplechase. Panetta will be wanting to win the European Championships. Indeed, defend his title from Split 4 years ago, but they're both out of it already. Look at the back of that field. Chizire at the front, laying down a very, very fast pace indeed.
It's perhaps a bit too quick, though. You've got to pace. You've got to stick to the pre-race plan and pace evenly, and you really shouldn't shoot off too quickly. But he's settling down now to a more even pace. Morselli in there in 3rd position. Chamasi in 2nd place at the moment. And Gabriel Selassie in 5th. So all the big guns up there just biding their time, sitting in behind the pacemaker, number 67, Chizire.
Chizire there, doing a pretty good job at the moment. Tim Spivey closing up in that group. They slowed a little bit there on that second lap to bring themselves back onto a more sensible schedule. Really, they can afford to be lapping at around 60.5